Well, we've looked at some facts about price level and inflation in the United States. And now we want to turn to the theory of what is it that determines what the price level is or what the inflation rate will be. So the first pass at this will be to ask about money. So what is money? Well, over time, a lot of things have served as money. Gold, silver, precious stones, tobacco, beer, dog teeth, shells, jewels, porpoise teeth, metal coins, even paper. There are three basic functions of money. The first is as a medium of exchange, so it's used to buy goods and services. The second is as a store of value, so that's the old putting the money into your mattress as a vehicle for savings. And the third is just as a unit of account that's used to denominate goods and services. The medium of exchange function is by far the most important. And that's because what money does is it overcomes the need to find a double coincidence of one. So suppose that we didn't have any money, and the only way that we could exchange would be through barter. Well, then I have to find somebody who wants what I have to exchange and who also happens to have what I want. So that's the double coincidence of one. And as you can imagine, trying to find such a person is inefficient and extraordinarily time consuming. But if anybody accepts something as a means of payment, it could be pieces of paper or it could be some other durable good like gold. Well, then we don't need this double coincidence of one. All I have to do is find the person who has what I want. I give them this medium of exchange, they accept it, and I get what I want. Now, in the United States, currency is what's called fiat currency, and this is true in virtually every country in the world. Fiat is Latin for let it be done. I don't know why that's relevant, but it seems like an interesting point. Now, the definition of fiat money is that it is intrinsically useless, and it would have no value if it were not used as money. Money is not backed by any valued commodity. So if you take $1 to the Treasury, it's backed by a new dollar bill. The other important thing about money is that its value is what we would call fragile. The value that I give to $1 depends on the value that I think other people will give to that dollar. So in other words, I'm willing to accept $1 in exchange for, say, my labor services, but only because I am expecting that somewhere down the road, I'll find somebody who has something I want and will be willing to take that dollar from me. What money? Well, the U.S. was on a gold standard until 1933 when Roosevelt essentially suspended it. Then, 44 to 71, the U.S. dollar was the only national currency that was actually backed by gold. Gold was legal only for international payments, and the rate of exchange was fixed. 1 ounce of gold is $35. Picture that now if you go look at the gold prices. And then all the other currencies in the world, or at least among major economies, were tied to the dollar through fixed exchange rates. So the US dollar had what was called a reserve currency status. In 1971, Nixon suspended convertibility, and that then brought in the floating exchange rate period. But in effect, even though lots of people misunderstand what Nixon did, in effect, the U.S. has been off the gold standard and on a pure fiat currency standard since 1933. What is the price of money? Well, the price level is the number of dollars it takes to buy goods. So the price level is in units of dollars over goods. Now, if there were only one good, say apples, then P would just be how many dollars it takes to buy an apple. But what does it cost to actually hold a dollar? Well, in order to hold a dollar, you have to forego the opportunity to hold goods. So with $1, you could instead hold 1 over P units of goods. To word it differently, to acquire one more unit of goods, you need to spend P units of money. Or to put on its head, to acquire one more unit of money, that is the cost of money, you need to spend 1 over P units of goods. The 1 over P is the units of goods that cost per dollar. And therefore, we can think of 1 over P as the price of money. So let's let big M denote the nominal money holdings. So if you're holding $10, then you're demanding the quantity M equals $10. So what quantity of goods does M represent? Well, what we're asking here is how many goods can you buy with M dollars? So suppose the goods cost $2, but P is in, again, remember, it's in dollars per good. And you have 10 units of money, well, then you can buy 5 units of goods. So holding $10 is equivalent to holding 5 units of goods worth of money. Now notice that there's going to be a fundamental neutrality result, which is that if you increase nominal money and prices by the same multiple, so make that multiple lambda, then the real quantity of money doesn't change. So this is basically the idea that if suddenly you double the amount of dollars in the economy, if all prices also double, then nothing has changed really. So the price level just adjusts proportionately. So this should be starting to help you think about what determines P. So let's think about the transactions demand for money. So using money reduces the cost of transacting. So as I said, it mitigates this double coincidence of wants problem, and everyone is willing then to accept money in exchange for goods. So 1 over P is the price of money, and money demand, which is M super D, decreases as this price increases. So when 1 over P, the price of money, is high, the price level is low, and people don't need as much money to carry out transactions. But when 1 over P, the price of money, is low, then the price level is high, and people need more nominal balances in order to do their transactions. Start with a very simple money demand function, which is right here, and it just says that people want to hold a quantity of money whose real value is constant. Well, then we can plot this, and you'll see that this M over P equals a constant is just what's called a rectangular hyperbola. 1 over P is the price of money. Down here we have nominal money balances. And so what we have is a downward sloping money demand function. So as the price of money, 1 over P, rises, the quantity of nominal money demanded falls. So now we can combine this with a very simple model of money supply. Let's first assume that money supply is just exogenous, so it's perfectly inelastic. Well, then what we have is just this vertical money supply function. So initially the supply of money is at M0. Money demand is given by this downward sloping demand curve. So the equilibrium price level is P0, and the price of money is 1 over P0. Now suppose that somehow the quantity of money just increases in the economy. Well, at this original price of money, there's now this excess supply. So this whole thing is excess supply of money. Well, if you've got an excess supply of something, you're going to tend to bid down the price of that. And as the price of money falls, people are willing to hold more of it. And so they slide down this demand curve. And that process continues until you reach the equilibrium P1 for the price level, or 1 over P1 as the price of money. So what this is saying is that if the money supply goes up, the price level goes up.